Thank you for tuning into Hard News TV4. I'm your host, Terri, Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today is August 23rd, 2020, and this is my top 10 for today. This article is from yesterday from WND. Actress attends illegal church service. It's my God-given right to be able to worship God freely. In America, y'all, the headline says actress attends, quote, illegal church service. This sounds something like in communist China. Christian actress Sam Sorbo, the wife and actor of Kevin Sorbo of the God's Not Dead and Hercules fame, told LifeSite News after attending an illegal church service in California that it's her God-given right to be able to worship God freely. Godspeak Calvary Chapel in California has kept its doors open despite liberal Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom's executive order banning indoor worship services across the state. Several Christians who have been attending the mega church in recent weeks spoke to LifeSite. One of them was Sam Sorbo, an actress, author, mother of three. It's my God-given right to be able to worship God freely, and it's protected by the Constitution. But y'all do know when the emergency orders were declared in March that our Constitution is basically suspended. Now, this article was crazy to me. Radio host fired for using certain word to describe Kamala Harris on air. A radio host in Cleveland has been fired for using an offensive term to describe Democrat Vice President nominee Senator Kamala Harris of California. During WTAM's radio broadcast Wednesday of the Cleveland Indians game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, host Kyle Cornell used the term colored to describe Harris during a cut-in. The U.S. officially has its first colored vice presidential candidate. More coming up after the game, Cornell said in an effort to keep the audience listening. So he was fired for using the word colored, okay? But they call themselves colored. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her tribe and all of them, they call themselves women of color. Women of color, sometimes abbreviated WOC, is a phrase used to describe female people of color. The political term women of color surfaced in the violence against women movement. The women of color phrase is used to describe female people of color. So that's the politically correct term, women of color. So this man says that the U.S. officially has its first colored vice presidential candidate. She's a woman and of color. So in some cases you can call them colored, but in some you can't. I mean, it's just getting crazy what words you can use and what words you can't, and it costs you your job. This is insanity. Article number 3. Trump to announce major therapeutic treatment tonight after slamming the FDA over HCQ Snub. Y'all, but this is doublespeak, and this is a problem to me, okay? So I know lots of people like Trump, but I think they're all in this together. Let me see. Look at this. This is reverse psychology. When you're controlling somebody, you make them think it's their free will that's making the choice. But when you're manipulating somebody, you're convincing them it's their choice, but you really have an agenda, an objective. That's what's going on right here. Trump says the deep state, or whoever, over the FDA is making it very difficult for drug companies to get people in order to test the vaccines. So Trump is wanting people to take the vaccines, and he's saying it's the deep state and their people that's making people apprehensive from taking it. I praise God the vaccine is not here. Article number 4. Slam New York City movers are turning away business as residents are fleeing the city. Between an economy wrecking a pandemic and a blistering crime wave driven by race riots and a disbanded anti-crime unit, New York City residents are switching to Pace Picante and fleeing the metropolis in droves. Article number 5 goes with this. Landlords, New York landlords are begging businesses, return to work and save the city's economy. Well, Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo have destroyed New York. They have run businesses away. And now, all of a sudden, the leftist policies have destroyed New York. But now people are seeing the fallout from it. Now, did y'all know this? I've done a video on my channel that got pulled down, but I'm throwing this back in here. Some states are getting as much as $300,000 per coronavirus cases. New York City, or New York, is getting $12,000 per case. So wouldn't this be an incentive to falsify records, just like we saw what was going on in Florida, labs being busted for a 100 positivity rate? There's a financial incentive to cook the books and to lie about the number of cases and make the pandemic virus look worse than it is when you're getting $250,000 per person. Some states are getting significantly more funding to fight the coronavirus per case compared to other harder hit states, according to new analysis released Friday. Now, this was from April. Analysis from Kaiser Health found that states like Minnesota, Nebraska, and Montana are getting more than $300,000 per reported case, while New York, the hardest hit state, is receiving roughly $12,000 per case. Florida, which is also grappling with a serious outbreak, is getting $132,000 per case. The funds are coming from a $30 billion in emergency grants from the Department of Health and Human Services. Well, the Department of Health and Human Services is the people wanting to push the vaccine on everybody. So they're paying states money to say they've got cases. Do y'all see the pandemic yet? Article number 7, exposed. World Bank Corona aid comes with conditions for imposing extreme lockdown, reveals Belarus president. Huge foreign loans are given to sovereign nations by the World Bank, IMF, and the likes, but the conditions that come attached to these loans are seldom told by governments to their citizens. One case, a recent case in Belarus, has exposed the conditions laid out by these agencies for loans being provided for the virus. The president of Belarus has exposed that the World Bank coronavirus aid comes with conditions for imposing extreme lockdown measures. Okay? So governments get money for tight lockdowns, and states get money for saying that they have virus cases. This is a new world order rising. They are destroying everything we knew to bring in their new world. Okay, now, Michigan appeals court upholds their little Caesar, their little Castro governor's emergency powers. Governor Gretchen Whitmer's emergency declarations and orders to curb the coronavirus clearly fall within the scope of her legal powers. The Michigan Appeals Court ruled Friday, rejecting a lawsuit filed by the Republican-led legislature. The 2-1 ruling upheld a lower judge's decision, but expected to be appealed by the state Supreme Court. Additionally, it says, we conclude that the governor has the authority to declare a statewide emergency and promulgate reasonable orders, rules, regulations during the pendency of the statewide emergency as deemed necessary by the governor, and which the governor can amend, modify, or rescind. Judge Jane Market wrote an opinion joined by Judge Kirsten Frank Kelly. Additionally, a declared statewide emergency only ends upon the governor's declaration that the emergency no longer exists. That has yet to occur in the instant case. So they have their own little Caesar, their own little Fidel Castro in Michigan. And then look at this. This is from yesterday. We talked about this in another video, but here it is again. Michigan College unleashes mandatory app to track students at all times. So this is Little Caesar tracking the students, and this is the part that got me in it. Let's see if I can find it. This blew me away. According to the Washington Free Beacon, Albion College COVID bubble will require students to stay within a 4.5-mile perimeter of the school. If students violate rules, the bubble rules, such as stepping outside the bubble, the app will automatically notify school officials who could slap the violator with temporary suspension. So you're a college student, you're going to college to get your higher education, but you've just fallen into a trap. The school that you're paying money to go to learn now has put you on a leash like a dog, and you can't go farther than they say that you can go. The move to track students comes as college health experts and government officials have been in several months of disputes regarding reopening for the fall semester. Okay, so if schools can start restricting you to 4 miles moving around where you go to school at, cities can start doing this too, y'all. They can make us put apps on our phone, and if we get out of our bubble, then we could be slapped with jail or something. It says that, so they're controlling them by fear. If you step outside your little 4 miles that we're giving you, we're going to suspend you from classes. We are going to disrupt your education as grown people that you're paying us to learn, but we have control over you. You are our slaves. Really, y'all, really. And don't think it's limited there, because now it's in Oklahoma. This is from August 21st from NBC News. At Oklahoma State University, student steps are tracked to stop the COVID virus. The school president says students should not be worried about privacy issues and the Orwellian effect because the data is collected for internal use only. Newfound freedom is a part of the allure of going off to college, but COVID-19 changes that. At Oklahoma State University, the school tracks where students are at all times on campus to slow the spread of the disease. Oklahoma State tracks the location data of students and staff are signed onto campus. Wi-Fi routers. The school also uses student card swipes, campus purchases, and course attendance to complete contact tracing. So y'all, here we are, okay? We're using words like illegal church services. We're losing our job if we use the wrong word that is right in some instances, but wrong in other instances. We're being conditioned to think that the deep state is holding back our vaccines so that it can be pushed forward so Trump can fight the deep state to get us the vaccine. New York City is begging people to come back. We're finding out they're getting paid $250,000 in Florida for cases, almost $350,000 in other states for cases. Is being exposed that nations and countries are being given money from the IMF and the likes to impose crucial and harsh lockdowns. Then Michigan is giving their governor unlimited powers, and colleges are putting your college students on a leash like a dog, and it's expanding. So don't think it's not going to hit us. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.